Hey one hail, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at the XingGang's tiny take on a god level bot with their Cyberbot, their Mechanical Planet, their version of Primus. He will be our focus in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one hail, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. Helps me out a ton, let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below, also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. This is not a company I'm familiar with, but I was intrigued when I saw this because I said it's very reminiscent, obviously not the same, but very reminiscent looks wise of kind of what we were getting from O1 Studio on a much bigger scale, obviously. I love the fact that he comes with pieces that can kind of turn them into a little globe. It's not for me in terms of scale and size, but I certainly see where it could fit in and why people would go this route. I want to thank Daryl for giving me an opportunity to look at this. This belongs to him. So without any further ado, how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at this Primus. And yes, indeed, courtesy of our buddy Daryl, we're taking a look at the quite small, actually, XingGang Mechanical Planet. Their take on Primus, but at a very diminutive size. In fact, the dude stands at 7.87 inches, or 20 centimeters if you're so inclined. And that's kind of, we'll see him compared to others later, but that's kind of like old school big Voyager, kind of more modern leader class. So maybe it would work with micromaster scaled stuff like from Dr. Wu, for example. Or because a planet can never actually be in scale, if they do a Unicron this same size, it could be nice, handleable, manageable sizes for the planet bots. Obviously, this is much smaller than something like HasLab Unicron. Obviously, this is much smaller than something like the O1 Studio Seed, for example. But it is pretty fantastic. This is the box. We can see Primus on the front here with his sickle, his scythe, I don't know what you call it, his blade, and his shield, which I like. Very clean look here on the front of the box. On the side it just says Cyberbot. On this side, kind of nothing. And on the back you see both of the modes for planet and for robot. Just as an FYI, these are the instructions. They are glossy, they are two-sided, and they are actually quite effective. And here's our guy next to Actual Primus. Actual Primus is a Supreme class offering. Stands, I don't know, 14 inches, I think. I think he was 14 inches, and I think Armada Unicron was 16 inches, because Unicron should be a little bit bigger. So you can see he's certainly not as big as the original Primus. Fun fact, by the way, the upcoming Age of the Primes Star Optimus Prime, or Star Convoy, if you will, is about 15 inches. So the new Titan is kind of the old Supreme class. Make of that what you will. And here he is with a couple of Voyagers being Prima and Ferak, so you can see his size here. He's basically like a really big Voyager. I would say a leader class. I would say he's more of a leader class offering. So we're going to take Prima out of it, and we're going to take Ferak out of it. Okay, let's start giving this guy some scores, shall we? So let's do the look first, because that's kind of one of the big scores, don't you think? And the look, much like O1 Studio Seed, is obviously based on the DK Transformers, the Ultimate Guide version of this guy. It was artwork done by Don Figueroa. Figueroa. I don't know how to say his last name. We all know who I'm talking about. Well-known Transformers artist. I find a lot of these last names difficult to say. I apologize because I'm sure that I butcher them, even though we all know who I'm talking about. This is obviously inspired by that as well. So starting from our feet and working our way up, using that version, right, the Ultimate Guide version as our reference, The toes should have blue, but I understand why they went with this because of the planet surface. The planet detail, including the gold and stuff on the lower leg, seems about right. The thighs, that seems right. The blue on the pelvis, the red on the chest, the blue on the upper arms, and the blue on the head with the yellow eyes and the gold. All of that seems pretty correct. The gray forearms, they should be blue. And the blue right up on the shoulders, that should also probably be gray. That said, the positioning of like all of the planet bits and stuff just sort of hanging off of him, that's pretty true to the design. I'm going to say that you see this, you certainly with the head sculpt being as good as what it is, you know this is Primus. I'm easily giving this a 9. Honestly, I want to say 10, but I'm going to say 9 because I'm sure that, you know, if you wanted to nitpick, you'd certainly find a few differences between this and that artwork. And there might be a couple of other different inspirations in here. I will say though, ton of paint. I think all of this red, if I'm not mistaken, I think all of that's paint. Lots of red detail, gold detail, for example. Lots of metallic detail. For a 9, it's a strong, strong 9. Let's do, I guess, the articulation next. Obviously, when we get to planet mode, it's a planet, so it's not going to have articulation. But you get the idea. Oh, by the way, I guess I could take this out of his hand now. This is, it opens like this basically, and it will go down into the shield, and this will give us what the planet goes onto, like up right here. So I'm going to take that off, and the shield, it just pegs on, has a little peg on the inside that can close up, and then we take this thing and it goes down in there like that, because it'll end up being like a globe in the end. So we're just going to lay that aside. That's his 2 accessories. They're blue metallic, and like I think it's paint. I think it's paint on gray plastic actually. Like here's the back of the shield, here's the front. So I think that's all blue paint, very shimmery. There's gold and white highlights on it, gold and silver maybe. No, I think it's just gold and blue highlights on the other piece. So in fact, the gold probably could have had another go. But it's pretty good. Let's do the articulation. We're at a 9. It's very strong. The head goes left and right. It can look up a little bit and down just a little bit. We do have, I guess if you undo this waist hinge, we kind of have an ab crunch, so to speak, but that's sort of undoing a piece of transformation. These wing pack pieces, you can sort of move them back out of the way. The shoulder can come all the way up over, but it does sort of bang into the head a little bit because of the shoulder pad, but it does do it for sure. If you're wondering, hey, when you bring the shoulder down, how much room do you have up here to do it? Not a lot. If you want to get the arm really up, you've got to use the hinge that's in the red. We do have a bicep swivel. We do have an elbow to 90 degrees. Don't think we have anything at the wrist. Nope, not that I can discern. But he can, you know, he can T-pose, the head does move, right? All that good stuff. Is there a waist? No, there doesn't seem to be a waist. The leg all the way forward. If we get that skirt up, the leg all the way back, really. Thigh swivel. We have a knee to 90 degrees. There is a tab here. See if I can, probably easier to show it on this one actually. There's a rectangular tab here that goes into a slot here. On this leg, it doesn't seem to want to stay there well, so if I bend the leg up, and I really want to get more of a bend, I can really untab that and get like a really super kind of over 90 degrees deep knee bend. So make of that what you will. Thigh swivel if I didn't already say it, and I don't think there's any ankle tilt. No, so no waist, no ankle, no wrist. But what is there is really good. What is there is smooth in terms of its range of motion, and what is there has excellent tolerances. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see a couple of extra little points of articulation, and if they're there and I'm not discerning them, I apologize. But I'm going to say you get a lot of what you want. I'm going to give it a solid 8.5. So right now he's getting about an 8.75. I don't think that's too bad at all, honestly, for something so small. And let's keep in mind that I've seen the prices of this guy range from $17 Canadian to $27 Canadian. So we're talking, I don't know what that would be in US funds, but in Canadian funds, like we're talking less than 30 bucks for something that's basically the size of a leader class. So less than a Voyager price for a leader class size. I get there's going to be certain things compromised. An 8.75 for Primus, that's, you know, $27, $28. Yeah, that's really impressive. Okay, let's start getting things ready for the transformation. We're going to take this, and this is on like a hinge and a ball joint. So we're going to take the hinge out. We're going to unpeg it from right there with this slot, or tab, I guess, went into this little rectangular slot. And we're going to turn this around thusly. Over on this side, we're going to do the same thing. Take it out of the slot, bring it out on the side, rotate this around thusly. Okay, the arms, we're going to bend up here, and we're going to bend up there, like that. And we should be able to angle up an arm and bring it in on the side. And same thing over here, angle up an arm. There you go, and bring it in. We should then be able to take that piece up over and that piece up over, and these two pieces should now be able to tab together. And as you might guess, there's going to be a fair amount of tabbing to this guy to go to planet mode. Right, but that's sort of up over his head. Okay, gosh, let's see here. We're going to take these feet and I guess we fold that in, and then this comes down thusly. We're going to take this one and bring it up, and we should be able to, yeah, fold that in and then bring this piece down thusly. Whew. Okay. Where do I want to go next? I guess we should put the legs together, I suppose. Probably the best thing to do next, so we can kind of start moving this in one chunky piece. I'm hoping we can move this in one chunky piece. We'll see if we can move this in one chunky piece. So yeah, we bring those together. We should be able to now kind of, bear with me. Do I need to have that done yet? I'm just trying to see something here quickly now. No. So we should be able to bring, oh, it's tight, it's tight. Bring the hips up like he's sitting down. There we go. And then we should be able to fold the legs back over onto themselves. And, yeah, there we go. And now all of the legs should be able to kind of squeeze up, sort of between the arms and stuff here, up into the body. That's when we split the waist, and we bring that up around. And the parts up over his shoulders, they should tab in right here, if we're lucky. Keep those picked up. I'm going to kind of get all of that solidified around so that we can put the last pieces in. Just give me a moment, because otherwise it's going to be hard to tab everything together. Pardon the little cut there, but I wanted to make sure I had the rest of the sphere kind of together. This whole backpack piece comes down on the side and will all fill in right here. And honestly, it's not a huge pain to tab it in. You just got to make sure that it's all kind of there and then like squeeze together in the end. Yes, it's a little bit panel-tastic, such is life. Then when we're done, we have this slot down here. That's what goes down over right there, and boom, in the end here we have Primus in his planet mode. And here we have regular Primus, mini Primus. And again, like, they both make an argument for a version of Cybertron, no doubt about it. This is beautiful. If you know the transformation of the original Primus, there are things here familiar. For example, the way the legs kind of fold up over the front of the body. If you know O1 Studio Cell and what that transformation is like, there's things here, certainly the way the panels line up, that will seem reminiscent to you, I believe. I think it's more a work of frustration to go to planet mode to line up all the panels than it is to go back from planet mode to robot mode. As such, I'm going to say to go to planet mode is about a 7, to go back from planet mode is about a 9, so I'm going to average the transformation out at about an 8. He was already getting an 8.75. I'm going to say overall as a version of Primus, this lad is easily an 8.5, and what more could you ask for about 20 bucks? Yeah, this guy is fantastic, even if diminutive. And here we are once again, and here he is in his planet mode. In terms of the robot mode, there's a bunch of paint on it. It's generally quite well articulated, as you saw. And the transformation to get there, once you kind of start to break the planet apart and figure out, like, well, what panel do I start with? It's not so bad at all. Going back also isn't too bad. Yeah, a little place here and there where you have to line up a panel that can be a slight nuisance. And when you're done, it's probably a good idea to give it all a final little squeeze. But it does transform both to robot and back to planet mode quite smoothly. A lot of paint detail with the golds and the blues, and like all of this is a nice metallic color, and I think that's all paint too because of the gray down here, as I mentioned. I like that its display is as a globe. I think that's really cool. I think that's a great way to sort of handle this, to be honest with you. A lot here very clever. I would absolutely love to see this on a bit of a bigger scale. Yeah, granted, there's a bit of a backpack, but it really doesn't affect much in terms of articulation. Like, you can get a nice few dynamic poses here for something that really is probably meant to be like Legends, maybe even like micromaster scale. I feel like this would be a great Primus, for example, for New Age. That said, and I've said this before in reference to Cell, in reference to the Armada Unicron, in reference to the original Primus, in reference to O1 Studios offerings, a planet is never ever in a billion years going to be able to scale with the rest of any of our collections. It's just the reality of it. So whether you want to kind of represent those characters in a small fashion or a big fashion is sort of indifferent. If you're planning to display them in planet mode, then there's no reason to not go this route. If you want a robot mode and you want it to scale as, you know, somewhat, then I get why you might want to go bigger, unless you're a tiny Transformer collector. This is great for what it is. It was cheap, it was small, but it's fun, functional, and it really kind of captures Primus. I'd say it's an absolute win if you're okay with a diminutive Primus. Let me know what you think about this iteration of the God of the Transformers, if you will. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.